We return yet again to Halifax, a world at war. From last that we left off, the Orc assault on Halifax Prime itself had been successfully repelled by the Human Defense Force, and now in the southern Ashen Wastes, Lord Commander himself is leading a dreaded counterattack against the Orc menace in this sector. The Lord Commander had set his forces up into two distinct prongs, that of the left and the right flank, with both forces' goal to take over these industrial ruins that scatter the area of the Ashen Wastes. Captain Crook has miraculously appeared in the battle sector and is directing the forces from a central Trojan building, an old RBT's battlement within the sector. Can the Human Defense Force overcome this Orc obstacle, or will the counterattack be doomed to fail? Wasting no time, the Lord Commander ordered his infantry forward, by covering fire as the rest of the army advanced. The first infantry group taking aim at the Orc boys up in the first building, they managed to fell 3 of their number with a volley of precise las fire. The second squad, covered by these shots, advanced forward and opened fire at the shooter boys in the Lunar Factory, killing 2, but failing to do much more. The Orcs returned fire, felling 1 of the first advancing infantry squad. The third infantry squad thundered forth into the Trojan building, laying down a series of covering shots, managing to gun down 1 Orc in the process. The battle tank trundles forward and takes aim at the Lunar building, hailing it with machine gun fire and a direct tank round blows apart 2 of the greenskins. The shooters return fire, decimating several of the advancing second squad. But undeterred, they carried on the fight. The Sentinel provided some much-needed fire support, killing 1 of the Orcs in the first building, doing little else. The Orcs hoot and cheer at the Hubi's incompetence. The Lord Commander and his men score 2 hits up against the building, but they fail to kill any of the Battle Greenskin. In the central complex, the Orc second shooter squad obliterates 6 of the oncoming recruits, shaking the squad and causing the other pincer to stall. Commander Fraus orders his men to fix bayonets and charge the building. If they can keep the Orcs pinned down long enough, they hope to be able to disrupt the flow of battle, allowing the rest of their forces to move up. Under thundering foot and hollering war cries, the humans and Orcs clash bitterly for the central building. Unfortunately, the Orc tough and crude hide proved too strong for the Imperial steel, and the Orcs fought back, killing 4 of the recruits. The squad then failed its morale test, shaking it. The third recruit squad aims its las weapons and opens fire at the core building, only killing 1 of the greenskins. Captain Crook, confused but also amused by the Human Defense Force's insolence to come upon his base, launches a devastating counterattack, absolutely obliterating all but 2 of the humans as they scrambled up the ladders to take their fallen comrade's place. 1 of the men swings his bayonet and clocks an Orc straight in the eye, but it wasn't enough, and the men break and flee the battle. The sniper takes careful aim at Captain Crook, getting past his energy shield, causing a single wound upon the monster. The Ogren attempt to lay down continuous fire support with their grenades, but it only kills 2 of the greenskins sheltering inside the building. The Storm Boys, taking their opportunity, thunder over the factory complexes and straight into the ranks of the Ogren. In the decimating melee, they manage to wound 1 of the Ogren and get an Orc crumped into the ground in return. but it was simply not enough, and the Ogryn fall back and become shaken. At the end of the first turn, the human defense forces made significant gains within the industrial complex. It was not enough to push the Orcs back fully. The battle still hangs in the balance, and a true winner would be decided soon enough. The first squad continues to take pot shots at the Orcs, felling 3 more of the Greenskins, but they refuse to break, continuing to hurl insults at the Humies below. The battle tank turns its tank cannon and takes careful aim at the central building, unleashing another devastating cannon shot and machine gun fire, blowing apart 6 of the Orcs in there. But with Captain Crook's support, and probably some threats of violence if they retreated, the Orcs did not break. The shooter boys opened fire from the Lunar Court building, blasting apart 6 of the Human Defense Force numbers from the first squad and promptly shaking them. The Ogrins decide to rally, along with Commander Faust's men, and could do little else as the Orc Storm Boys continue to push their advance into the Ogren, seeking to cut down these mutated brutes. In the bitter melee, 2 of the Ogren are killed, and the last one fails his morale test, fleeing the battle without inflicting a single casualty. The recruits, possibly terrified by this, decide to bayonet charge the now tired Orcs, hoping to score some critical kills against these jump units. But alas, it was not enough, and several of their number were cut down in quick order. The squad fails to do any serious damage, and the squad falls back, shaken. The other squad rallies as well. The Orc shooters gun down the rest of Commander Faust's men, and he stands there defiantly, power sword crackling under the heat of Halifax's suns. The Sentinel advances up the battlefield and takes aim of its laser machine gun and peppers the first Orc building, felling 2 of the Greenskins and leaving just the boss, who had finally had enough and failed his leadership test. The snipers continue to take pot shots at Captain Crook, who's still out in the open for some reason, managing to land a single hit as the bullet passes through his crackling energy field, wounding the mighty war boss. His boys then take shots back at the snipers, not wanting to be outdone, felling 2 of their number, but the lone sniper on the tower passes his morale test. The Lord Commander, sensing that his presence is needed on the battlefield itself, storms out from the building and takes cover behind the battle tank. As turn 2 comes to an end, the industrial state is awash with human blood, and the Orcs continue their assault. The recruits rally, and the Lord Commander tells the tank to take aim, and he and his guard take out the pesky Orc that was holding Building 1. The last sniper is shot to death by Captain Crook's boys, avenging for all the wounds done. The battle tank opens fire, blowing apart only a single Orc, and the Sentinel then turns around to give some much-needed fire support, felling Captain Crook's last minute. The captain himself, undeterred and absolutely ready for a fight, does not break. The squad in the Lunar building gun down the survivors of Squad 1, and then going over to the other flank, the recruits rally at behest of Commander Faust. Commander Faust charges the dreading Greenskin commander and promptly gets trumped into the dirt. What a waste. The Storm Boys decide to continue to push their assault against the recruits, absolutely annihilating the last members of this resistance, as the flank pretty much disintegrates. The squad takes shots, killing but a single jump boy, but is promptly shot off the table by the Orcs in the central building. With momentum heavily turning against the HDF forces, they could do little but look on in horror as their left flank collapses under the weight of the Orc assault, leaving it up to the Lord Commander himself to wrestle victory from the jaws of defeat. The Sentinel then stomps forward, providing some much-needed fire support on the central building, peppering it with machine gun fire, and getting past Captain Crook's armor, bringing him down to 2 wounds. The mighty warboss fails his nerve and becomes shaken. The mighty battle tank aims its turret towards the orcs in the leader building, unleashing a salvo of heavy weapons, failing to kill a single greenskin. With the battle now decisively in the hands of the orcs, the jump troops and the shooter squad are repositioned to crush the Humi's right offensive. The Lord Commander, seeing the advance of these devastating shock troops, advances in front of the tank and opens fire, felling just a single. And just like that, the counterattack was well and truly broken. Although the human defense force had a significant amount of heavy artillery left on the battlefield, time was no longer on their side, and as reports of further fighting from down south emerged, the Lord Commander decided it was time to fall back after taking heavy casualties against the orcs. The anvil will hold, and the Lord Commander will oversee its defense. In the southern sector, the orcs under the war boss Killer Kim had launched a dreaded assault on Cyrus City. Join us next week as we decide the fate of Cyrus City and its inhabitants.